Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Monday night live stream here at Joe Daddy's Garage. If you're just joining us, we do this on Monday nights at 7 o'clock and also do it on Thursday afternoons at 3 p.m. The idea being we talk about or try to talk about or stay focused on classic cars, whether it be Mustangs or Chevys or Camaros or Pontiacs or whatever. So I'm glad you're here. I got a dent in my hat. How'd I get that? Okay. That looks better, somewhat better. Got to do what I do. Got to do what I can to make this look better. So hats tend to help. But it's been a pretty good day so far, I guess. I haven't done much, honestly. As some of you have seen or kept up with, Roger and I, who's on here now, Hindsight 6-7, we took the 65 Mustang, known as a straight pony, to a gentleman in Texas. And we did that early Saturday morning, took off, and drove all the way to Texas, dropped off the car, had some dinner with him, went to the hotel, slept pretty good, I guess, got up the next morning, Sunday morning, took off, and drove 13 hours overall, total time, 13 hours, 800 miles back to Georgia. And we got back, I don't know what time it was last night, after 8, maybe close to 9, I think. And yeah, still recovering from that. That actually took a lot out of me. I know I'm still tired from that trip, but it was a good trip. The challenge, of course, is towing a car across all those states and dealing with road construction, semi-trucks, people towing odd things on their own design, and trying not to interact with any of them. And so that was stressful. It was a much easier, coming back without a trailer because we had rented a U-Haul and dropped it off there in Texas as well. So, yeah, I think I'll be more up to speed tomorrow. It's one of those things where if anybody does a bit of driving, they tend to, get amped up, during the process, and then you stop and it's like, okay, I got to wind down, and didn't happen very quickly last night. But anyway, we're here. So I have a few people checking in. I have Clark Clifford, not Dave, here. Greg Blinko, that's Greg's workshop in Australia. Crash Rider, Dave not here either, but greetings from Southern Indiana. I have a feeling Dave will show up sometime tonight. I'm sure. One of the Daves at least will show up. Terry Keithley, it's Monday night at Barry's in just a little bit, yes. Brian Bergman, hey, all just saying howdy. Got to go see the doc. Maybe see y'all later. Okay. Hope things are going well. Bad Harry checking in. Glad you're here. Dr. Boom, hey. Hindsight 6-7, that's Roger from next door. Nandu, hi Barry and everyone. Hope everybody had a good weekend. It was actually pretty nice weather-wise. Clark, go-kart riding hat. Yeah. Yeah. 777 Smitty, great weekend. Finally, nice weather. Yep, I agree. Did I skip over? Oh, I did. I think I skipped over Bad Harry. Happy to be here. Hi, Barry and all. I don't know if I did or not. Nick Moss checking in. Hey, Barry. And Nick, the rear side marker lights that used to be on Jade, can you tell me roughly how big the holes were? I actually decided I wanted to put mine back on, and the ones that were on it weren't correct. I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, once I cut those quarter panels off, they were trashed, and I don't have an answer for you. Wish I did. Jerry from Middle Tennessee checking in. Nick, if you still have those or remember. Yeah, I don't have, I think I may still have, I don't even know, because I think mine were just the bolt-on lights. They weren't the recessed kind. So, I don't know for sure. Marchetti, glad you made it back safe. I am too. Yeah. I mean, we were moving along pretty good. I'll say that. I think Roger had calculated our average speed, and initially over the 13-hour period and 800 miles, it comes out to about 61 miles per hour average. However, if you deduct the hour for us to stop and eat, get gas, different things like that, stuck in traffic. So it's really 12 hours for 800 miles. And I didn't do the math. I don't know what the number is. So I think our average was a bit higher than 61. So, but it was interesting. We'd gone to Texas before to deliver that Bantam Roadster, a different part of Texas. And on the way back, we were more on I-10 and what was it, I-12, I think? Something like that. I don't know, I-10 for sure. And I think I-12 and then back on I-10. But seeing all the refineries and stuff down there that are just massive structures was amazing. And then also there were several areas we went through that had the, I guess the Hurricane Laura had gone through at some point. And so large areas with, piled up trees and different things, and lots of blue tarps on houses, where the roofs were gone. So, had some rough stuff go through there, but it was, parts of it were really good, and parts of it, the roads were really kind of sketchy. So, Nick, they should be the cooler ones that don't go into an indent. Yeah, that's what I have. I could probably come up with something. You might have to send me an email. Maybe I can get you some pictures or something from the ones that I have. Tony checking in. Glad you're here. Nick, yep, all good. Okay. Bad Harry, supposed to be 52 here tomorrow. Melt the snow, and I can wash the salt off the vehicles. Yeah. It's been nicer weather here. I mean, it got up probably in the mid 60s today here. So that was nice. Doug Pinzer, hello from upstate New York. Just finished installing torque boxes on my 66 Fastback. Hope all is well. Thank you for your help. You're welcome, Doug. And I'm glad you got those in. Bob Shoemaker laid in from Windy, Oklahoma. Glad you're here. King Custom, nice hat. Thanks. Speaking of which, I've talked about it. I finally got an update on the hat situation. I have this hat with the trucker style, whatever, and then the black version of this. And I finally got everything lined up to where I should be getting hats in the next, I think they said by the 24th. Hopefully, I'll have some hats. So I know a lot of people are looking forward to that and getting some of those. So just a quick update. Third Stall Garage. Hey, we're listening in my garage while I work on the 66. Fitting the firewall and cowl side panels tonight. Well, that's good. I hope that goes well. Andrew, Grease Rookie Garage. Hey, Barry, love the recent high build video. Well, thank you for that. There's, the fenders you can see here behind me and stuff. I still have the top of the driver's fender to block stand out. And then I will block stand out the rest of the car, the rest of the body. Check it, do seam sealer, do another round of high build, and make sure everything's smooth. Got to have a smooth car before you start throwing paint at it, and that's good. Getting excited about getting paint on it. I think a lot of people will obviously want to see the paint videos and see the car come to life with the color. So 3X Xena, that's Gene. Hey Barry. Had a few minutes. Doesn't happen often these days, so I thought I would pop in briefly. Cool. I hope your project's coming along. I don't know if I've seen any updates. I know we had the Viewers Project a while ago, so hopefully things are coming together. King's Custom, when's the Mustang going to be done so you can get a new project? That's a good question. That's a good question, and that's a question I can't answer. I had planned to or wanted to get the primer and maybe even paint on a car last month, and it just didn't work out. The weather conditions weren't helping out. It's got to be warm enough to spray. Even though I have heat in here, having fans and stuff on, it's just going to pull the heat out of this side of the shop. So I need to have good heat and weather conditions for that to come together. I don't know what is this, 8th of March. I don't know. Get it sprayed and start putting pieces together. Now, there's a couple of things I have to deal with, and I mentioned it before. I showed it before. The front chin spoiler that I ordered from CJ. I don't know if I'm going to use that or not. I have to get a few more test fits. I want to get the fenders back on the car, get the valance on, and see just how far off that air dam is, whatever. So little things like that. But the list is getting shorter, so we're getting there. Denny, glad to see you back from Texas. Yeah, me too. I mean, I don't mind making those trips. It'd be easier if we had more time available to where we could spend a couple days, relax, and come back. But you do what you got to do. Dave Conville, our first Dave sighting, or the first announced Dave sighting for the evening. So you get the first Dave bell. Fast and Furious, hello from Ohio. Glad you're here. Chris Lambert, hey folks, and Barry, glad you're here as well. Let me get a quick drink. So we did notice also in the towing of the 65 that it took, I think we stopped for gas 3 times, which, I'm driving an 07 Suburban, and you're towing a U-Haul trailer, which is a very heavy duty trailer, and of course the car. And so, I think we made 3 stops. And before we left, we filled up at, in Texas and Houston area. And I think we only made 2 gas stops instead of 3. So it just shows you how much of a difference it is towing the trailer and the car and, blasting through traffic and then coming back, because we were riding along and, with the Suburban, I think it's got a 29 gallon tank, and, the little thing tells you how many miles you can go. And it was like 468 miles. I'm like, whoa, that's well past halfway. So that was nice that we didn't have to, get more gas, but we still stopped at a couple places. And here's the weird thing about that trip. I say weird because Roger had brought up that there's a truck stop called Buc-ee's, BUC-EES or something. And it's supposed to be, different than your normal truck stop or something. And so on our way over to Texas, we're driving along, and he had mentioned that, and I saw signs, Buc-ee's. I'm like, oh, well, there's I think maybe we saw at least 1, maybe 2 signs. So we're driving, we get over to Texas, drop off the car, and the next morning we're coming back and we're talking about it. So, well, maybe we'll stop at that Buc-ee's just to see what it's like. Driving back, no signs, nothing. We're checking on, the map, phone app, Waze, and it's saying, hey, you got to go this way to get to this Buc-ee's, or 100 miles this way. And we're like, how did that happen? Because we passed one on the way here, and then we took the same route. So it was kind of weird. It was kind of weird. So we didn't get to see Buc-ee's. So we don't know, if anybody's been there or not. You can enlighten us. But we have not. We didn't make it, and I don't know where there's another one that we could get to. So let's see, Nick. How you need a different bell that's called the Dave bell. Yeah. Mercury Man Garage. Hey, all, Len Ekema checking in. I'm glad you're here. And I enjoyed your video, Len, and how you took care of that roof panel and the other, the other areas there. Sometimes you just have to back up and figure out how to make your own stuff. And that's what you did. So I enjoyed it. Dave Conville, first Dave. And I was late to class tonight. Yeah. I don't know where the other Daves are yet. We'll get some eventually, I think. King Customs. Do you ever watch any other YouTube channels? Occasionally. Occasionally. I don't. You might be surprised that I don't necessarily watch car channels. Um, there's what's it called? There's one I enjoy because it's I'm not even a fan of basketball. I'm not a fan of basketball. I'm just not. But there's a guy. He goes by. I think he calls himself the Doctor. I think is what he goes by. He's a short guy. He's like maybe 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", and he's an outstanding ball handler, dribbler, shooter, whatever. And he goes around different parts of the country and challenges people to games, and ends up embarrassing these other people on the courts. And it's kind of fun to watch him play. So that's one of the I watch occasionally. Sometimes I watch some Peterson restorations just to see what he's doing, and then another one that stands out is one called Adventures with Purpose. And Roger and I talked about this on the way over here. Adventures with Purpose is like this team of people that go out and investigate or search for missing people in like lakes and rivers and stuff like that. And they solve a lot of crimes or a lot of unknown cases of somebody, dying. So that's kind of, interesting to watch. But I occasionally do watch Grease Rookie, of course, and I watch The Infernal Craftsman and Wally, and I like to see what everybody's up to. So let's see, Nick. Anyone around St. Louis? I need a turn signal hood. I have two, and they're free. I just sold that $289 for $100, and I have 2 8-inch rears. Just come get it, sort of deal. I need space. Okay, so you're saying you have 2 hoods. You're not looking for a hood. Well, man, St. Louis, yeah, that's a little out of my way. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, if anybody is interested, contact Nick here on this while we're conversing. Ben, let's top up that coffee. And I see that Ben gave me a super sticker. Thank you for that, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. That'll get me a cup of coffee. Yeah. Thank you. Ish. Hello, Barry. I made it. Well, I'm glad you're here. Nick. Bucky's jerky is amazing. Well, thanks. Thanks. Now I don't know. How am I going to know? Until I find one. How am I going to know? Hindsight, I'm convinced it was a mirage. Yeah, I don't know, man. It was like, I know I saw the sign, had like a beaver or something on it, Bucky's. I don't know. Unless we were like, when you get that runner's high. Well, if you have done a run, they talk about the thing called a runner's high. I've only ever experienced it one time in my life, and that was when I ran a half marathon. At about mile marker 9, I just kind of zoned out, didn't realize what was going on, and pretty soon I was at the finish. Maybe that's what it was. We were driving, cruising along, and just had this. We talked about it, and had got this driver's high. just thought we saw the Bucky's place. Gene, got an update coming real soon. Very excited. Cool. That'll be awesome. Matt, what year are those 8-inch rears from? He's asking Nick. Arthur, good evening from Alabama. Glad you're here. Okay, so Nick and Matt are conversing. They're both for 68. So, Nick, man, I'm just changing my last name to Mass. It's 4 letters, guys. Maybe you should just change the A to an O. That might be easier. Nick Moss, Moss. Maybe that's what you need to do. I mean, who would know? If you just changed it here to Moss, everybody would say it right, I think, right? I don't know. Arthur, my wife calls it varmint. Hey, it's still good, though. Jessica, hey there, guys. Radio show for me as I pay bills. I see a man about a GMC. My quest for spray paint. Take care. Okay, glad you're here. Clark, endorphins. Yeah. Well, it's weird. I've ran many miles, anywhere from 2 to 7 or 8. Never had that runner's high thing. Never until I ran that half marathon. And then I was like, wow, I wish this would happen every time I ran. It would make it a lot better. King's Custom, is that part of the Mustang behind you? Yes. Yeah, those are the fenders for the 68. There's a plastic bag there. That's actually the core support for the 2004 Honda Civic that I'm going to rebuild. So that's there. And there's the 351 Windsor here, and there's a that's the hood for the Honda Civic. So there's a mishmash of parts in here. Kuderlev, Bucky's, the only reason to go to Texas. Well, you know, I still didn't find one. It was see, we should have made a stop somewhere along, made it more of an effort to get to one of those places. Doug, Matt, I have a 66 hood free. I'm in New York. So if Matt's looking for a hood. Nick, might as well. No one would know. Rude, just rude. I mean, whatever you type in there, you can just, it's going to come out. Typically. 777 Smitty Bucky's is on I-10, South Alabama, just a few miles from you. Well, you know, we drove on I-10, and I must have been on I-10 because a GPS to put us on I-10, then in like, I don't know, I-12. I don't remember the numbers. And then back to I-10. So maybe that's where it skipped us around. Let's see. Bad Harry sent you update pictures. Got the Coyote engine in and transmission installed, motor mounts built and tacked in, cut the tunnel, and built frame connectors. And I have those pictures downloaded. When you sent them to me, I actually got out here and was able to pull them up. So since we're talking about that, I'm going to show you these pictures from Bad Harry's. And I have some other pictures too that I want to share. Let me see. I'll just have to click on these and see what comes up. So let me pull you off the comments real quick. So there's a shot that looks like from the left front, or left, looking at from the left rear fender over towards the right front fender for the engine sitting there. And then next one is left side, or passenger side aprons. Yeah, that takes up some room, doesn't it? And then this is the driver's side. Or no, this is the, oh yeah, that's the cowl. Okay. So you got the cowl and the back side of the engine. There's a big cutout in the tranny tunnel. Yep. Yep. I've heard you got to do a lot of modifications to make that fit. And so there's a moved tranny tunnel. So I'm sure you'll be making filler pieces for that. And then the other pictures he sent me were frame connectors. So he's made his own frame connectors. And that looks nice. Follows the body line. That was a little harder to see, but definitely looks good. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing those. Jerry, take a look at your email about Bucky. All right, I'll have to do that. Oh, okay. I'll have to look at that a little more as I get further along. Whoops, Willie Goodman. Hey, Willie. By the way, I want to let you know that you've got a sticker coming in the mail. Sent it out today, so it's on its way. You'll be getting that in probably a couple days. But I'm glad you're here. And thanks for supporting me on Patreon. Appreciate that. Ish, will you be making any interior updates to Jade, electric windows, and such? You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm not going to do electric windows. I'm just not that motivated. But I am going to update the gauge cluster. And I may do something with the console. I'm not sure exactly yet what I want, because the console I have is really not good. I want to see what other things I can come up with. But since you brought that up, I wanted to talk about this as well, because sitting behind me is a box that I've been waiting on for a while now. How about that? Now, I haven't opened this yet. And one thing, it says, you know, paperwork on a box says, open right now because, you know, if there's any damage, we need to know. And I was curious as to, again, I have not opened this. I'm first look. But this is an upgrade for the cluster. And I don't know what to expect. Besides a lot of peanuts. Okay, so pull this out. Oh wow, okay. So it looks like there's a control module of some sort. GPS and TPMS ready. This is the sender. Lots of fittings and stuff in that bag. That's cool. And I want to see. All right, so there's one bundle. There's another bundle. Another bundle. And something else down inside here. Can't find it. There's the edge. Okay. Ah, instructions, screws, and all kinds of stuff. So, exciting things. This looks like it's just a. You can see the cutout there. So that must hold the gauges in, and then we have. I don't know if I should. These look like they're packed well. I may open up these just to see, since we're here, right? I know you want to see too, right? Why not? Because the thing is, they said they don't make these until, you know, you order them and basically pay for them. And I don't remember. I think I ordered blue for the color of the pieces. So nice little connectors. 8,000 RPM tack. Cool. And it's got plastic on top of this plastic, so there's like a protective film, you know. And then let me open this one up. So you're getting a first-hand look at these. And I'll probably put together a video for assembling of these. Speedometer and fuel level must be calibrated. See full manual for instructions. So speedometer goes up to 160. I'm not going to go that fast. But I think things look good. Pretty happy with that. Anyway, back to the conversation. Doug Pinzer, does anyone know of a seam sealer in spray can form or something comparable? When you say spray can form, it's unlikely you're going to find. I don't know if anybody makes that. I know that we use seam sealer at the body shop. They had different types of 3M seam sealer, and it was a 2-part mix. And you had to use this like big gun, and you put the cartridge in, and it would have a tip in it. And as you squeezed it, it would mix together and then lay out. And it had like self-leveling and, you know, stuff that would stay on top and fat and thick. But I don't know if they make any in a spray can. I have not seen that. For the most part, what I use is the Evercoat brushable seam sealer. I use that for almost everything. Well, I use it for everything, in fact. Arthur, so you were close to my shop and didn't stop by. Well, sorry, man. It would have probably been interesting if we ever make another trip to Texas. We'll see what we can do. Len, hey Barry, do you have Any more live stream projects lined up? Really enjoyed the block sanding one. You know, I don't know yet. I'm considering whether I should do a live stream on playing with these gauges and trying to get them in the cluster and stuff like that. I don't know yet. I've had some other ideas, but I haven't committed to anything just yet. Nick Moss, we should call Bad Harry Robot Harry. Guy is a machine. I agree. He's moving out on that stuff. He is definitely making progress. Len, Doug, not sure about spray can, but there is a self-leveling form of it in a tube, so that may help. Bad Harry's chuckling at Nick. And Robert, late, but I'm here. Well, I'm glad you're here. And my wife has started eating that other pack of brisket, just to let you know. Ronald Bell checking in from Northeast Tennessee. Nick, which series is that? 160 is perfect. I mean, they look rad. You know, I'd have to look at the paperwork. I don't know. It took like weeks and weeks and weeks for them to build these. Apparently, they don't stock them. They're ordered, then they build them, and then they ship them. So, Bad Harry, those are really nice gauges. They look awesome installed. That is the plan. I can't wait. I'm telling you. I want to see the black dash panel. I want to see these really super nice gauges sitting in there. Clean up the column and all that stuff, and just, you know, the one thing I haven't figured out yet is this actual steering wheel. I've got to come up with a steering wheel that I'm going to like. But I'm so looking forward to black, you know, brand new black dash pad cluster. Hit that key. Yeah, looking forward to it. Nick, I can't remember the series I was looking at, but allowed you to pick the background color. Yeah, that's what I did. I don't remember if it was what the choices were. I think it was a blue, red, and white, maybe. And honestly, I don't remember what I picked. I don't, you know, I would venture to say there's got to be something. Maybe, I don't know. It just says, well, the part number I picked is VHX 67F MUSKW. And then I know that it says 67, 68 Mustang, black/white. So I don't really know. I don't remember what I picked. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. But that's what I have. Anyway, we'll find out when I get it all put back together. Ish, Flex Seal as a seam sealer. Maybe. I have used Flex Seal in areas that I could not access, you know, like through openings and stuff, and sprayed it in different places. I don't see why it wouldn't work, honestly. As long as it's, I don't know, if you're going to top coat it, you know, with some primer and paint, stuff like that. So, Arthur, so I'm in Mobile, where you reside. Oh, well, I'm south of Atlanta. About, I don't know, 30 miles south of Atlanta. Robert, next trip, I will bring more brisket. It warms up better than the ribs do. Yeah, that's okay. We'll not turn it down, I'll tell you that. Matt, what's up with J-Daddy's Workshop? I have not had any notifications when you upload. Well, I mean, I'm still putting stuff out there. I did a video a couple weeks ago on a aerator. I welded on some brackets on an aerator, so that should have popped up. I have found that, you know, there's activity is picking up on that channel. Certain videos are getting more views. But I mean, I'm still trying to put stuff out there. There will be a video coming out on the workshop channel, because I like doing like time-lapse stuff. And I have my neighbor who lives up the street is building a new house close to us, and he's going to, you know, sell the other house, I guess. But I've done time-lapse videos on a construction of his house. It's kind of interesting to me. I think it's kind of cool. But I did one where they poured the concrete, And I think they poured the concrete walls, they poured the concrete basement floor. I didn't do the construction of, main construction of the house, but I did. I will have a video out very soon on them putting up the rafters or the trusses. They had a big crane. It was kind of cool to see that stuff happen, and then sheathing and roofing and stuff like that. So, but there's still stuff going on. Nick, can we have a live video of you staring at the car for a half hour going, yep, so I don't feel so bad about doing that after a long day of work. I need company for my misery. Yeah, I mean, there's times where I just stare at it, I know that I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. Right now, even though I didn't film it, and maybe I should have, the rear window trim. I've talked about it before, where the curve of the trim, meeting the roof opening. So if you had the curve piece, it ended up with a bit of a gap. So I'm just adding some filler and just shaping it so that when the trim piece is finally in place, it's going to fit and not have a gap around it. I'm fixated on these nice gaps. So that's what I'm working on that. Grease Rookie is talking to Robert about going to Pennsylvania. Arthur, maybe I need to make a road trip, or I need to take a road trip. Yeah. Come on by. If you're coming towards Atlanta, come on by. Doug, Flex Seal, yes, perfect. It's for places I can't reach. Good idea. Thank you. Well, there you go. Robert, YouTube doesn't always send notifications for some reason. Well, you have to hit the bell notification. I know that much. You have to hit the bell to get the updates. So that may be, I don't know if you hit the bell or not on that other channel or not. Joey 4E. How can I get these connectors disconnected that are on the breather hose? I'm trying to take the radiator off of a 2018 Chevy Malibu. Aha, that's a good question. Have you seen the tools for that? It should be a slip in. Let me see if I have some of those I can show you. I know I have them, but I just don't know where they're at because I don't use them very often. Let me see if I have them. Because if it's what I think it is, if it's the same connectors that I think it is, it usually takes something like these, and basically this slips around the tube, slides into the collar, spreads the collar apart, and then you can pull the tube out. In a perfect world. Now they have these, this is probably a generic brand that I picked up from the parts store. Sometimes you can see I've got a bunch of grit on I've had to fight sometimes to get it wiggled around enough, but if it's the same connector I'm thinking of, then that's what you need. These little quick disconnectors. Robert may have a better recommendation, but that's what I used. They have different makes of these too. There's some that are metal. I don't know if I'm missing one or if it doesn't come in that size, or if I broke it. Maybe I broke it. But they also make some metal ones that are like, kind of generic. So hopefully that answers your question, Joey. Predkins, how's your house coming on? Well, that's not my house. That's my neighbor's house. We're not doing anything to our house. They started making the Nissan Xterra again. Oh, interesting. Craig Workshop checking in. Bob Knoll, good evening. Checking in a little bit late from Detroit. How's everybody doing? I think we're doing pretty well. We've actually got 75 up here on the watch, so that's cool. Let's see. Pradkins, I hate Atlanta, Georgia traffic. Yep, everybody hates Atlanta, Georgia traffic. 2018 Chevy Malibu, it's hard to work on. Yep, any kind of new stuff seems to be hard to work on. Nate, anyone from Kentucky? I don't know. We got Tennessee. I know we usually have several from Tennessee. I can't say for sure who all is here from different areas. Gene is saying good night. Glad you're here. Robert, the metal ones are better than the plastic. I have broken the small plastic ones. Yeah, I mean, you can spend a lot of money on these. You go to buy a Snap-on or Max set or whatever. These are cheap. I admit that. They've served their purpose, and I would probably be further ahead if I was doing more of that type of maintenance. I would probably spend some more money on these. But that's now you have an idea at least what we're talking about. Bad Harry, only 25 thumbs up with 75 watching. Yeah, come on. Get in there. Hit that thumbs up. Help out. There's another set of pictures I wanted to show you. And there was a video that was sent along with it. And I tried to download the video. And I don't know if I could play the video on here or not. But it was pretty cool. Let me see if I can. I'm going to try, because I don't know where it goes when I hit the download on that particular video. Oops. Yeah, I don't know how I can share that. But I'll just download it, see if I can get it on there or not. But this was 777 Smitty. It sent me some pictures, and let's see. So anyway, sent me some pictures. That looks really nice. And then another picture with the brackets on it, serpentine belt system. And I'm going to see if I can't. I'm not sure yet. If I can. See, I don't know where. I don't understand why I can't pull this up. Wait a minute. Maybe I can. I'm going to try this and see if it works. So, oh, it won't let me do it that way. Sorry. I can't play the video. But anyway, good looking engine. I like it. And let's see. Denny Alvey is saying Denny is from Western Kentucky. So there's somebody from Kentucky. And we have Shaka Gillis. Good evening. Ryobi tools are trash. I can't argue that. I can't argue that. And you threw $2 at me. I appreciate that. Every little bit helps. Doyle, I know you've been getting grief for saying a little bit. Try a small amount instead. Yeah. Yep. Gary Tremblay saying thanks, Doc. Arthur, when you log in and go live chat, it takes away the thumbs up and down buttons, and you have to leave the chat to check thumbs up. Interesting. When you log in and go to live chat, it takes away the thumbs up and down buttons, and you have to leave the chat to check the thumbs up. That's interesting. Is that on a phone or something? I don't know if it's the same on a desktop or not. 777 Smitty, I went back and watched your engine fit video. That monster is tight. You talking about on a Brooklyn Pony? Yeah. I guess that's what you're referring to. Robert, Shaka has a thing against Ryobi over on another channel. It's okay. Hey, I can't argue that. I mean, honestly, I just can't argue the Ryobi thing. I don't know. So Arthur's saying yes on the phone. Okay, that makes sense. Nick, I finally paid my motor off this month. If I can just get through this body work, the car should go together pretty fast after that. At least it's be drivable or make some noise. Gosh, that would be nice. Yeah, there's something magical about hitting that starter button, starter switch, and thing revs to life. It just feels like you've done something. Because you have. Arthur, hey, I'm looking for a 76 FB body. 76 FB body. What's the FB? Fastback? Is that what you're trying to say there? 76. So you're talking about the Mustang 2? Is that what you're referring to? A little more information. Nathan, love the videos. Thanks for all the tips. Trying to get this Cougar done. Cool. Glad you're here. Matt, have you ever sandblasted cast aluminum parts, then clear coated them to keep them from corroding? If so, what were the results? I have not done that. But it makes sense that it would work. That's something I have not attempted. So if anybody else has tried that, let Matt know. Greg, always saying hi. I can still see the motor. Oh yeah. You know what? I'm sitting here trying not to get too distracted, and I get distracted. Okay, I'm just looking at the comments and not thinking about what's going on in front of me. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate that. Arthur, I have one that's a total rusted out. Yes, 76 Mustang 2 Fastback. Well, occasionally I see them pop up for sale. So if I happen to find one, I'll mention it to you. I'm always looking at like Marketplace on Facebook and just to see what's out there. Just keep up to date on pricing and stuff. So, Nick, hey Barry, you're looking a little blocky. Yeah. I just got distracted. I'm trying to read the comments and keep up with that. Arthur, okay, yeah, we'll do. Nandu, any suggestions on how to remove a broken bolt? A little more detail. Where is the bolt? Is it in the block, in a cylinder head, in a suspension? That helps in solving that kind of question. 777, I was just watching thinking that looks so nice. LOL. You should. That was your engine. That was your engine sitting there. Yep, look at that. Just look, it does look nice. I like those valve covers. That gives it a nice, cool vintage look. I like that. Okay, that's back off. Ish, I emailed you a picture of my future project. Let me see if that. I'll download it. See how it comes out on the stream. Let me go real quick here because I have another. Whoops, nope, that's not it. I have another picture I want to show you as well that was sent to me that I think it's cool. This is a Crosley sand buggy. I thought that was pretty cool. And that was sent to me by John MC. So Crosley sand buggy. I like that. I mean, quite the contraption you got going there. I think it's pretty cool. And then we have the future project, and it's a narrow picture, so it's kind of hard to see much. But is that a convertible? Must be a convertible. I think it's a convertible. Like I said, it's hard to see. The imagery that I get on my screen is pretty small. So that's a future project from Ish. So, all right, I got to get that off of there. Want to make sure you don't get distracted by the images popping up. Andrew, on mobile, you can hit the X button to continue watching the video, but leave the live chat. You can then hit the thumbs up button for the video. All you need to do is hit the live chat button. Thank you for that. So on mobile, you can hit the X button to continue watching the video, but leave the live chat. You can then hit the thumbs up button for the video. All you need to do is hit live chat to come back on. Okay, thank you for that. We have Judy Lynn Avenido. Hello, everyone. Glad you're here. Nandu, it's on the base that holds the seatbelt to the floor. Okay, so if you got a bad bolt there, yeah, like Roger says, is any part of the bolt sticking out? Is it sheared off or twisted off, etc.? All those details matter with broken bolts. Yeah, normally, those things rust up. They get all crusty, and typically adding some sort of a penetrating oil prior to taking stuff like that apart, if you can. Even wire brushing backside of the bolt underneath the car, trying to get all that junk off. And then if it does break off, then one choice you have that you can play with if you're interested. I've done this before where I've welded on another bolt to the first bolt and what's left of it. And it's tricky. But if you can weld in another bolt, that process will heat up the threads and maybe enough to break loose the threads that are in that. So there's a couple ways you could do it. Even like Robert's saying, you could weld a nut to the stub sticking out. If there is, you could take if there's the shank of the bolt is sticking out at all, you can take a nut, put around it, and then weld inside the threads and weld it to the top of that bolt. You may get enough heat transfer there that it breaks loose the rust. Another idea, and I don't know if I've thought about this, and maybe it would work. I don't know. But if you were to drill, the typical way is to drill it out to where you almost touch the threads with a drill bit and then try to work out the threads, stuff like that. But I just had a thought. I'm trying to remember how big that bolt is. Like if you drilled it out big enough to put a 3/8 bolt inside of it and then welded that bolt to that remainder, again, the heat transfer from the weld process might be enough to break it loose. So a couple different options there. And heat is your friend when it comes to getting stuff out. She's saying 66 convertible. Cool. Nandu, there's not much sticking out. I tried Harbor Freight extractor, but no luck. Yeah, well, like Robert said, weld a nut to it if you can. The thing is, heat is probably your easiest response. So let's say you had a little, not a torch necessarily, but like the little MAP gas, you could heat up that thing, and just the heat and the expansion of that of the nut side of it will help break it loose. Isaac, I have this rattling sound in front of my Nissan Murano. What is that? It's mostly when I go uphill. I can hear it, but I can hear it, but I can't. Oh, I guess I can't when I turn. That's a tough one to answer. A rattling sound in a Nissan Murano when you go uphill. Well, without being able to hear the sound and identify it, that could be a knock sensor. It could be your engine knocking. I don't know. Does it sound like it's from the engine? Like, does the RPM change the pitch and give it more gas as it go up and down? Or is it a rattling sound that is constant, such as metal to metal, but it's the same sound, like it doesn't change as far as revolutions? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're riding a bicycle and you're pedaling faster and you had a little card hitting the spokes, you'd hear a faster click. You slow down and it slows down. That tells you it's something, it rotates. Now, if it's some other noise, it could be something loose up under the, and around the engine or suspension. So kind of hard to answer that. Robert says, drill it out, etc. So many methods. It's an art form to know what works the best. Yep. I can't argue that. Robert's also saying, if it's a seatbelt bolt, the unthreaded end sticks out under the car and you can grind flats on it and use a crescent wrench or vice grips. Another good point. Rust is always a battle. And like I said, getting heat on it is usually the quicker answer. It helps break things loose. And Nandu, I'll try welding another bolt to it. Thanks for the help. You're welcome. Arthur, loosen up between the seat and the steering wheel. That's a lot of times that is the problem. That is the problem. You know, when we were driving back from Texas, and there were several nuts on the road. I'll say that. I mean, people just we were doing in some stretches of the road 85, close to 90 miles an hour, and you'd have somebody just trying to cut in and out of traffic like they're trying to win the Daytona 500, and they couldn't go anywhere. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just get in line. Just keep on going. Just keep on going. Matt, Nandu, don't heat it up with the extractor in the drilled out bolt. You will wish you didn't. Ask me how I know. That's a good observation. That's a good observation. Yeah, don't put the don't have the extractor in the hole. Arthur, I was thinking on the Murano CV axle, and that's very possible. But it also it could be a wheel bearing too, so that, you know, I've run into it where I'm driving straight down the road, and you can hear something kind of making a noise, and you can hear the pitch go up and down. And when you turn, then the load goes on the side of the bearings, and it goes away. You know, I've run into that as well. So it's really hard to say it's this, or this without being able to hear the noise and understand, you know, the change in the sound. Isaac, I replaced the CV sensor. It's not that. CV sensor. Okay. Like I said, it's really hard to say without, you know, like I said, if you're driving straight ahead and it's a sound that increases with wheel speed, you know, and you turn the wheel, you need to look at your bearings. So let's say this: if you are if you can jack the car up and grab the wheel, you should not be able to move the wheel around. Like, you should be able to move it slightly back and forth because of the play in the steering. There will be a little bit there, but if you grab it top and bottom and you try to angle it back and forth, you know, with both hands, so that you're creating, you know, kind of this pitch angle, it should not move at all. So if you can get it up in the air and you can wiggle it and hear kind of a noise and see it move, wheel bearings. So give that a shot. Nick, I should do a video myself on breaking loose bolts. I've had to do a lot of this on the daily. Not saying I'm a guru, but I'm pretty well practiced. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not something that people just tend to, you know, be able to do easily. I've run into problems doing bolts like that. Oscar, I don't know what you're saying. Don't know what you're saying, but I'm glad you're here, I think. SB, what do you think about the Dodge Charger Hellcats? I think it's a quick way to kill yourself. It seems like I'm on some pages where it's on Facebook and stuff where it's anything wrecked or wrecked stuff. And it seems like the bulk of them are like these Hellcats. You know, people get a car with whatever 700-800 horsepower. They don't know what that means. They think it's really cool, and the salesman sold them this car because, hey, everybody needs a ton of horsepower. Next thing you know, they're wrapped around a telephone pole or a bridge or something like that because they don't understand how to handle that power. I mean, they're impressive, you know, but it's a quick way to die, I think. Robert, that's normal for traffic here in Texas. It's a weaving race. I didn't use my horn once. I got out of Texas on my trip. I didn't use my horn once I got out of Texas on my trip. Okay. Arthur, the axle of the ABS sensor, the axle or the ABS sensor, they're different. Yes. Constant King, no idea. Rick Stevenson, time to go to work. Well, I'm glad you're here. Isaac, there's video and sound, but there's not any information. Okay. Somebody may have to look up what Oscar's telling me here. I'm not gonna. I don't know what he's saying. Arthur, a friend of mine, came to my shop and replaced a wheel bearing on a 2010 Kia. It wasn't fun at all. Yeah, I mean, I've done wheel bearings on a variety of things. My daughter has a Kia Sportage. The rear wheel bearing, probably the easiest thing you could change. I mean, just take it apart, 3 bolts, pull it off, put it on. In fact, I did 2 videos on that because the first video I did, it was so easy when I did it the first time that I did not even, I didn't film it. I was done so fast. I was like, oh, I should have filmed that. And I had people complain about that video. So it actually went bad again. She put enough miles on it that went bad again, same side. And I did a second video on that, and that was a breeze. So Greg is saying Barry Carr's looking good. Thank you, Greg. Nick, quick edit. Quick way to die with a smile. You'd like to think that, but I would venture the face expression of somebody losing control of a Hellcat at 100 and some miles an hour. I don't know that they're going to be smiling. Just my instinct. Robert, Oscar said he's close to wiring his car. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that, Robert. And he's asking how much a wiring harness would cost. Well, it depends on the harness and the company. I don't remember the specifics. Probably around $700, I think, is roughly a ballpark for the wiring harnesses. I know I have them listed on my Amazon page, like American Auto Wire and stuff like that. So that's about as close as I can tell you right now. So I'm glad to hear he's getting the wiring done. Doyle, I painted my repaired fender in epoxy primer for winter. Do I need scuff with red Scotch-Brite or sand with 80 grit 2K primer? Yeah, you're gonna have to scuff it one way or the other. So red Scotch-Brite might be enough. Probably, I wouldn't use 80 grit. I might use 180. Just to give it some good texture. But if it's been sitting before, for that about length of time, red Scotch-Brite might be enough, but you might be further ahead just to do the 180 and give it some good scratches. Dawn Thompson with Betsy checking in. I am glad you're here. Let's see. So Oscar has something, the motor. I don't know what exactly that's. Nick says, I didn't say a happy smile. Yeah. I would venture it's more of a terrified look. Just my thoughts. And more nervous. Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, people buy these things and they think they know how to drive them, but put it in perspective. NASCAR, what are they making? 700 horsepower, and are driving on the track. And people with that much horsepower, they just a lot of them just don't have any clue. SB, my Hellcat pushing about 850 horsepower, just got to know how to drive it. Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm telling you, we as, I don't know, my generation, we didn't grow up with ABS brakes and traction control and all these things. So we had to learn how a car reacted when you stomped on the gas or hit the brakes too hard and different things like that. And then the modern stuff came along with all those features, and it spoiled everybody, because now I can drive 80 miles an hour on the interstate, no problem. And if I have to hit the brakes, well, the traction, ABS is going to slow me down. You get an old car and it doesn't, it's going to lock up and slide till you hit something. But, they also improved horsepower and different things like that. But typically a car I mean, 850 horsepower in a stock, a production car is crazy. It really is. I mean, yeah, it's cool. I understand it, but I don't want to see somebody who's inexperienced driving one of these things, and then next thing you know, they're either taking out other people or killing themselves or whatever because they just don't understand it. They just don't understand it. So, anyway, just my opinion. Mason Fox, how's it going? It's going good. Have you got your hats made yet? I have my order in. The order is in. And hopefully I have something maybe by the 24th or 25th, I think, is when it should be coming in. Oscar, interrupter of the something. I don't know what we're saying here. Anybody help? Robert, you're my translator. Rancho, how do heads work? Talking about cylinder heads on cars? That's a lot to share. There's probably some good videos out there that show you like a process. Really too complicated probably to answer easily. But airflow and fuel, valves, springs, push rods, or overhead cam, timing chains. There's all kinds of stuff involved. Probably a little too detailed to talk about here. Matt, that wiring harness price blows me away. I'm working on a Chrysler 300M that the engine harness melted. They are $900. Proud of that harness. Wow. Yeah, I'd say so. Robert, driving the Hellcat is like the tree I cut down this morning. Scariest one ever, as it was rotted more than I knew. Massive pucker factor on that one. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the, like I said, you have to learn these things. Well, you don't want to learn with the car that makes 800 horsepower. It needs to be like a step process that gets you there. Kia is safer, runs on hamster power. Yeah. Well, I've said it, I drive I was driving my Focus. Now I'm driving this little Honda Fit Sport model. So it has paddle shifters, stuff like that. It might make 100 horsepower. I don't even know. But I have more fun driving that car than probably just about anything I've driven in several years. It handles, it makes turns, it stops on a dime. It doesn't accelerate super fast, but it gets itself out of the way, and it's fun. And I know that if I was in a Hellcat, I would probably get tickets. a little Honda Fit, I'm not getting any tickets. Wally, how many videos of people pulling out of car shows and losing control? Once you lose respect for the power, you pay a high price. Thank you for that, Wally. That is a great observation. Bad Harry, you can't even use the 850 horsepower on the street. 100% accurate. Honestly, I think a street vehicle, just my opinion, a street vehicle, if you're at 400 horsepower, you are pushing it. Honestly. Because what else are you going to do with it? You can say, yeah, I've got 400 horsepower, I've got 800 horsepower, whatever. But where do you use it? You really can't, unless you're trying to outrun the cops or something. But 400 horsepower is a pretty good number for a street vehicle. Dave Conville, one of the best things Colleen and I ever did was go to performance driving school after buying the new Corvette. You learn about your and the car's limitations. That's a good answer. In fact, years ago, I had an invitation to go to, what was it? It was a Corvette, come drive our Corvette thing. Like they were trying to sell Corvettes. They would travel around. And I got an invite for some reason. Just a random thing. And I went down there and had a ball with that. It was at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and they had a place where you could turn off the traction control and hit wet stuff and slide through it. And road, like a road course thing, rally, course. And whenever they give me a chance to do that, I can tell you this: I am going to beat that car to death if I can. I mean, if they invite me to come drive their car like I stole it, I am going to drive their car like I stole it, and that's what I did. And in fact, I remember the little whatever you call it, the rally stuff, or parking lot course thing. We put up the cones, and I said, I'm just going to stand on this thing and push it as hard as I can, and I did. And there was a guy with me because they want they have to have somebody monitor you, and I didn't hit a cone, and I muscled that car all the way through the thing, and he's like, "Have you ever done this before?" I said, "Nope." He was like, "You probably should. You're really good at this." I'm like, well, I didn't say it, but the difference is, it's not my car. I'll try to break the thing. But yeah, you can learn a lot from those type of things. And another thing is, I went to one event, and it was Jeep, where they had Jeep, so you could drive around, same type of thing, off road and different things. We called it the Beat the Jeep event. And I remember they had us in the little Jeep, whatever the small Jeep is they have, the little small SUV, whatever. And it was another one of those slalom course things. And I was trying to roll it over. I'll be honest. I was trying to roll that thing over, and I couldn't get it to roll. I was yanking it through those turns, and I know I got the back wheel, outside wheel or off the ground, but I was trying to roll that thing over, and I could not get it, which is probably a good thing. I probably would have been paying for one of those. Don Thompson had the same problem with people trying to test drive motorcycles in the 70s when the Kawasaki Triple and Honda 754 came out, wrecked them in the parking lot. Yes. Yeah, because people just don't get it. They just don't get it. Ish, I believe Oscar is asking about engine and light harness price. Yeah. I was trying to get some answers for him on that. Bad Harry can't get the power to hook up. Yeah. I mean, that's just it. Street tires, 850 horsepower. Just keep buying tires. Mason, I figured out how big your shop is, 24 by 50. Yeah, overall is 24 by 50. Correct. Nick, there's a lot that goes into a quality harness. There are cheap ones out there, but to a point, you do get what you pay for. I agree with that. I've used American Auto Wire, and I've had good luck with it. So I can't say anything about the others, but they're very similar. Greg, hi Barry, my car is 450 rear wheel horsepower. That is a handful. That is a handful. Too hard, good to drive easy. It's too hard to drive easy. I get you. Let's see, where I'm at. Oh, I got a bunch of comments. Nick, Bad Harry, that's not like a challenge. Watch out, crowds. Yeah. Mason, is your Jade Mustang really fast or no? I'm going to say no. I mean, it might be 300 horsepower. I don't know. It sounds really good, but I don't plan to go fast. I'm not out there to break any speed records. I just want to enjoy the car and drive it, have fun with it. Oscar, I still don't know what exactly we're saying there. And I apologize. I can't do that. There's no way I can translate what you're typing in. Jerry, they call 850 horsepower crowd killers. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Robert, our Kia has a measly 290 horsepower. She wants the Stinger, which has the twin turbo 465 horsepower all-wheel drive version. Well, why? 290 horsepower in a Kia SUV is plenty. Honestly, that's a ton of power in something of that size. Robert, 365. I don't know what you're. Instead of 465, you're saying 365 horsepower. Okay. That Harry, my 66 Fastback has 700 horsepower and it lifts the front tires and pins me in the seat until I let off the gas. I go 150 miles per hour in 9 seconds. That would be fun. That would be fun. I think I'll just watch. Oh, Robert says, I can't see the keyboard in the dark. Are you out of power again? 777, I will say it's not easy, but you can get a wiring diagram of your car and build one yourself. You can, but I wouldn't do it. I would just buy one. Alex, question, 1977 Chevy, I guess, Concourse? What are your thoughts? Is that a Nova Concourse? I'm not sure what that is. Because they had, the Malibu? Because they quit making the Chevelle. I said the Malibu, the Concourse, I think was a Nova, I think. I'm not sure. I mean, if it's a Nova, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Hindsight. Thankfully, Barry invited his neighbor to go along to AMS to torture the Corvettes. That's right. That is right. It was a good time. We enjoyed that. Mason, hey, Joe Dice Garage, you need strip lighting like I have in my bedroom. Look at the strip lights. Change colors. Probably not. Dave went to Ron Fellows Corvette School at Spring Mountain in Nevada. Had an awesome time, both in the classroom and out on the tracks. Wide open. That sounds like fun. And if anybody wants to pay for me to go to a school like that, I'll take it. Arthur, I need to drive my Lisa. She has 460 horsepower and is sideways all the way, 67 Mustang Fastback modular conversion. Yeah. I mean, even that, 460 horsepower, that's plenty. SB, what is your opinion about Diablo Sport tuners? I don't really have an opinion on them. Honestly, never messed with them. I mean, I've heard about them, but I haven't had any cause to use one. So I can't give you a good answer on that. Sorry. Crash Rider, the high horsepower thing is just that. Mine is bigger than yours mentality. Yeah, exactly. Well, my car makes this. My car makes that. Well, how many miles per gallon does it get? And can you tow a trailer? That Harry, I was in Georgia. We rented Legend cars on oval track. 15 laps for $50. One of the rides of my life. I pushed it to the point where it spun out. Cool. That sounds like fun. Don Thompson. Betsy is a handful at WFO, which I guess I don't know, WFO. I'm not sure if that means wide open throttle. I'm not sure what that means. Robert, send a link to the track not too far from me. Nice 3-mile road course. Oh, that would be fun. Ish. He asked if it's easier finding harnesses here. I assume he's not in the USA. I'm going to assume that as well. And yes, it is easy to find harnesses here. Very easy. Now, I don't know what it takes to ship to where he's at. I don't know, but thank you for that, Ish. I just can't answer because I can't read Spanish. I can get a couple words, but not very good. Nick, I literally snorted when you said that about the Kia. Nothing against them, but it was funny. Well, thanks. 420. What is all AWD? AWD is all-wheel drive. So basically, it's full-time four-wheel drive. Oscar. So I got garage. Joe Daddy. Yes. S reference. I don't know. Something reference, I guess. I'm guessing. Sorry. Can't read it. Ish, I should charge him for translating. If you could. Ish, Concourse looks like a Nova mixed with a Malibu. Okay. Yeah, you don't see that very often. Cole says he has a 93 S10. Nothing wrong with that. OxyClean, 92 Buick Roadmaster. Your thoughts? Actually, those are getting to be popular. In fact, today I was getting my missions done, and the guy doing my stuff was telling me that he just bought a 96 Buick Roadmaster that had been sitting for years and years. Says it's got leather interior, it's perfect inside, and he paid $100 for it. $100 for a 96 Buick Roadmaster with the basically Corvette engine in it. And I was like, I wouldn't mind having that, but I don't know what I'd do with it. Mason, what I mean by you need strip lighting, that you can change colors with the remote. Oh, put them in the shop. Yeah. Well, I don't know that I'd really get into that much. 420 was the highest horsepower I can get out of a S10 2003. Well, what engine is in it? Is it the 4-cylinder or is it the 4.3 V6? I need to give some more information. Mark, I sent you a pic with some wheel arch damage. Would like your opinion on ways to fix it. We'll have to. Let me see what this. John sent me a funny picture. Okay, thank you, John. I don't know where. If you sent me something that's not, it's not showing up. So yeah, Bad Harry sent me a picture of his Mustang, and that's the place for horsepower, as he says, and I can't argue that. So let me see if I can pull that. I might actually have. I don't know if I still have that picture on here from before. Let me download that quick. Because he's right. This is where you want to, use this kind of horsepower. And there. That's where you want to have, you want to run your 700, 800 horsepower. That's the place to do it. On the track. That looks like so much fun. Let's see. Mark, if you sent me that pic, I didn't see it. It hasn't shown up. So I don't know what's going on there. David Outdoors 74 checking in. Glad you're here. Mark says, never mind. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know where it's at. Mason, my grandpa's uncle had a 64 Dodge Polara 500. It's got a 383 Mopar motor, and it's got 440 heads and some big tires on the back. It will pull you back in the seat. It's a fast car. Yeah, I can see that. Let's see. David Outdoors, any idea for a radiator fan combo for my 87 Formula? Not specifically. I'm not going to have an easy answer for that. Robert, I would be happy with 300 horsepower in the 66, enough to enjoy, but still get good mileage for trips. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't need. There's no reason. I mean, yeah, it's fun. It's fun to say I've got 582 horsepower. Well, that's great. It gets 8 miles to the gallon, and I got to keep tuning it all the time. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, so we showed that picture of Bad Harry's car. Yeah, David Outdoors, hit the like button. Yes, by all means. Let's see. Okay, so Ish says, Oscar thinks you're a repair shop manufacturer. Okay. Well, I mean, it's just a shop. Just my home garage. That's all it is. Sorry, Oscar. I don't have a way to. I'm not a shop that you would come to. Mason, or it was a fast car. The motor in my grandpa's uncle's Polara locked up. It has been sitting in my grandpa's uncle's shop for a few years now since his uncle passed away. Yeah. Unfortunately, maybe we'll get it back running one day. Nick, 64 Dodge Polara, that's a bucket list for me. What I wanted to build, but decided to go Mustang instead for my uncle. Hey, it brought me to your fine people, though, so it wasn't a loss. Does fuel octane really matter? Mercedes and BMW always say their cars need 91. People have put 80 SID in with no problem. Um, yeah, Nick says, yeah, fuel octane can matter. Yes. Now, Mercedes and BMW, they're going to always push for the higher octane. I mean, because they expect their cars to get that, um, and they're probably built to that standard. Whereas a lot of other cars are just built to run regular octane. So you might run into some problems with those cars in particular, um, with knocking and different things like that. That could be a problem. Okay, so Ish. Now it looks like he just shared whatever he posted. Oh, he's responding to it. Okay, he's responding. Okay, for Oscar. Para, right, is four. I'm guessing. I think. Thank you for that. David's going with the shorty headers. Okay. 64 and a half Stang. Sometimes people prefer their muscle cars bare bone stock, and some like full blown crazy power. It's all preference. I agree. I mean, I understand that. I really do. I know for me, I'm not. If I have something that's going to make or produce 700-800 horsepower, the scary part is I might try to do it. I might try to just see what I can get out of it. And even though I've got years of experience driving, I could still put myself easily out of control and cause problems. Robert, you can lose some mileage with lower than recommended octane, and some performance engines can be damaged with too low of octane. Yes. Greg saying, hi, Barry. Yes, that's right on the truck. Robert, some cars will get better gas mileage with higher octane, but you have to test to see. That is true. 777, I have a friend, loved the big horsepower until he hit the rail that changed his attitude. Yeah. Yep. Fast and Furious, how did you like the pic of me getting pulled over in the General Lee? He pulled me over for pictures. I did like that pic. I did like that pic. And I know you sent me the video of the build process, and I hope you have you said you're going to make another video of it. So looking forward to that. Cole, my truck gets about 20 miles per gallon and only has 93,000 miles. That's good. That's really good. Ish, I give Oscar a heads up that you're a YouTuber, not a repair shop. No fee for you. No fee for you for translating. Oh, thank you, Ish. Nick, 582 horsepower. I feel attack bear. You just had to nail what mine will make, did you? I'll see you at the gas station. It's just a guess, Nick. Just a guess. But 582 horsepower, yeah, that's plenty. Tim, hi Barry. I tried to get here way earlier, but There it is. There it is. Can you hear me now? Good grief. You know, yeah. There it is. Okay, so it was working on my phone. Can you hear me now? All right, good. Man. That was crazy. It just popped up with a blue screen of death and said, your device encountered a problem and we have to shut it off. And just, well, thanks. Let's see if it's still, is it still on YouTube? I can't tell if it's still running it on YouTube. It should be. Let me see. I hope it's still running it on YouTube. I'm guessing it's still running it. I can't, there's no way for me to tell. All right, well, let's see where we're at. I know there's a bunch of comments on here. Nick was worried that I ran to the bathroom. Oh, a bunch of comments. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you at least kept yourselves entertained while I was shut off. Let me see where we're at. So we had Tim Bowman show up. David Outdoors talking about using finding a transmission rear end back in his car, converted his 2050 stall. SP shorty headers or long tube headers. What's better? Depends on your car situation. I like the long tube myself, but don't know. Mason's going to upload a video tomorrow. Cool. Bad Harry. I'm putting the 5.0 motor for a 2016 F-150 in my street-driven 67. It has 400 horsepower with an auto 6-speed transmission. This is going to be pretty good gas mileage, horsepower, and drivability. Yes. All right. So we're going to have to skip over some of these. Locked up. He'll be back. Nick says I've got to pay his internet bill. Never know. 64, I had a full-size Blazer way back when. I used to feel it pulling me into every gas station I passed. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Dave Conville. Intermission? Time to hit the snack bar. Yeah. Len thought it was just him. No, it just shut off on me. Just boop. Clark Clifford, this is what happens when you run 800 horsepower live stream. Wally, need the intermission music from the drive-in theaters. If I could have had that on there, that would have been nice. Let's see. Yeah, Nick had said, had to go. Computer shut down. The Daves fought back. All right, so let's see. Been holding that since Laredo. Dawn, I can name 3 of the Daves. Dave, and Dave. Tell him the courtesy flash. Yep. Dave's the third power. Let's see. Bad Harry, I just got a ransom note and paid for YouTube to get Barry back. Robert, he's hiding in the back. Yep. 777. Okay, everyone, back to work. You got projects to finish. Yes. Nick says, I wouldn't miss this for a while. Let's see if he comes back with a sweaty forehead. One of those bathroom trips. 64 Barry, sick of our attitudes, or at least Dave, and Dave's. Yeah. Nick, see, he's on his phone. Let's see. So it's saying YouTube times out to stream. So is it still on YouTube? I don't know. I can't tell if it's, I'm guessing it's still on YouTube. I don't know. Crusher, I bet Joe Betty will show his appreciation to the viewers that stay for his return by rewarding them with a cap. Okay. Let's see. Just finished. It's working on my phone, not my TV. Weird. Yeah, I may have to reboot that. Matt, I just have the Joe Daddy's sign. Yeah. Well, Willie Goodman, yep, working on phone, but not on my TV. Robert, if you have no video reload, I had to reload on the TV. PC was okay. All right. Chris says you're good. Awesome. At Third Star Garage, we are here. Good. Well, I'm glad you hung in there. I don't know if it's technology, right? Technology. I tried uploading. I tried, my 800 horsepower laptop blew a gasket and just fell apart. So, SB, what was your first car, Barry? That's a good question. I've mentioned this before. The first car that I was assigned from my dad's junkyard and said, "This is your car. You're going to drive this." Was I think it was a '74 AMC Matador. That was my first car, and I just I drove it. I think a week until I managed to knock the exhaust off of it, and then it was junk. But it was painted with a roller. It was black and green. World's ugliest car, one of the world's ugliest car, and that was the first car I drove as a regular car. And then from there, I had other things like my dad he loved the little Renault Le Cars, they called them, R5s. And so we had a fleet of those, it seems. So I drove a bunch of those. But anyway, that was the first car. And then the first car I owned, or first vehicle that I was actually mine, was a '72 Chevy Long Bed. That was in my name, titled my truck. The reason for that was my dad couldn't sell it. He could sell the other cars or whatever, but I had control over that truck. So that was the first truck I actually owned. Chris just finished a long shift. I know you said you were working 12 hours. Hope it's going well for you. 64 is your computer made by GoPro. Robert thinks so. No, it's an HP. And Jorge, we're back. Barry, yep, good. I completely lost my train of thought. I know we were talking about high horsepower stuff and, not driving senselessly and all that different things. Well, you know what? We have a video, or a picture that was sent earlier, and maybe that was part of the problem, is the computer was acting up because, and I can't remember exactly who was asking about this. And I know that the scroll thing is gone, but was asking about the wheel arch and this damage. And it's really hard to see, honestly, because on my screen it's really small. And the only way you can really tell what's going on there is to get all the paint off and just figure out if there's rust and how far it's gone. So, if you really want to know, start stripping it down, and then it'll reveal itself to you whether you just have a quarter panel problem or wheelhouse or both, combination. So, let's see. Don Thompson. My very first car was and is Betsy. That's pretty cool. That is really cool. I talked about it. My dad had the junkyard, and a lot of people think, "Oh, your family had a junkyard. You could drive whatever you want." No, didn't work that way. We drove junk. That was pretty much it. We drove junk, and good cars sold, and junk cars were driven. Chris, Barry, I need your opinion. I talked to the painter today. He's busy finishing a restoration. Told me to call in a month. On average, how long does it take? I don't want to be waiting in the shop all summer. I can't say for sure. I don't know what he's got to do, as far as his work he has now. He's probably telling you to call him in a month because he doesn't know either. It's just the way it is. Sometimes you start doing a project and you run into problems and it becomes a bigger project and it gets you backed up. So I can't give you a timeline as to how long stuff takes. Now, in my situation, because, if I had parts and materials and I was able to manage the process myself. With all that, I can do stuff pretty quick. Of course, for me, the other challenge is I videotape almost everything I do. That multiplies my time. Just multiplies my time. So, SB, the cold air intakes actually work. They probably help some. Depends on how they're mounted and stuff like that. So like Roger says, SB, some do if they actually pull in cold air and not heated underhood air. So when you think about a cold air intake, really what that implies is you're getting fresh air that's coming from the outside of the car. So if you had put one on and it had some ductwork that came like low on the car, so you've got air coming off the road or something like that, it would do more than if it was just a cold air intake that's under the hood and it's sucking the heat from the engine back into itself. So when it says cold air intake, it has to have a good supply of air to make that work. Robert, I need to make up GoPro stickers to put on every electronic device that annoys me. Chris, my first car, Firebird Formula, my truck. My first car, Firebird Formula. Plus my truck. Okay. Nick, I had a Ford Tempo. I actually had a 76 Dodge Dart before that, but I never got to drive it on the street. You admit to having a Ford Tempo? Well, I admitted to having a AMC Matador, so okay. Yeah. Yep. Art says hot air intake. Yeah. Yeah, if it's not vented to, coming from the outside, it's going to be hot air. Terry Rushing, my buddy and I pulled our money and bought a 62 Comet. $25. We were 14. First car. That's cool. That's cool. Robert, a 10-minute propane conversion on the generator took 2 hours because I was filming it. That's the thing. Everybody knows I've been making videos over 10 years. And I put lots of work into these videos and time and effort, editing and blah, blah, blah. And now Robert is getting a taste of that. He's like, oh, wait a minute. This takes time to set the camera, get the angle, film it, talk about it. Like we did when we worked together on Jade. To me, that was fun because we, in a sense, were communicating with each other while we're doing it. And like if he was doing something, I could film him doing the work, talk to and let him talk and stuff like that. And that would be super nice if I had, a camera person to help film this stuff that I'm doing. But yeah, it extends your time for anything you do. Don Thompson, cold air equals more density equals more power if tuned for it. Good point. Tim, that was weird. You started reading my text and then poof, I thought I did something. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it just short-circuited. 64, my first car was a Plymouth Scamp with a 318. It was beat, but a lot of fun. Yeah, that's okay. The Scamp is a lot like the Darts, if I remember correctly. Robert, my dad liked his Matador, but it was only a year old when he bought it. Yeah. Yeah, mine was, like I said, black. It was painted with either brush or rollers, and it was black on top and green on the bottom. And I mean like dark green and black, and then the interior was black and green plaid. It was hideous. 6-cylinder car. It was just hideous. Clark, 79 Chevy Chevette scooter. Yeah. Those are actually, occasionally I'll see one around, but you don't often see those cars on the road anymore. Chris Berry, he's supposedly the best in the area on classic cars. Anyway, well, hope so. Still can't help you answer the timeline. Art's got to be a pain to work on stuff and not block the camera. Not for me. I get frustrated enough without obstacles. Yeah, that is quite the challenge, honestly. Um, and it's easy to do, especially if I'm like welding. I look at the shot in the camera and I'm like, okay, that'll be good. And then I start welding and I tilt my head over and I'm blocking it with the camera. And a lot of times I don't realize that until I go to edit it. And I've got this shot where the welding helmet blocking stuff. But it is. I mean, it takes a different perspective all the time. How do I film this in a way that I can show it without getting in the way? And sometimes I'll have the camera in front of me actually and put my hands in front of the camera and try to do it. Just lots of different things that are in the mix. Bad Harry, 72 Montego MX. First car, $400 with 48,000 original miles. That's actually kind of a cool car, honestly. Robert, I think we did pretty good considering we have never worked together before and filming to make it that much harder. Yeah, I mean, I think we did great, honestly. I think even the videos turned out great. And you know the longer versions that I put on Patreon of that process, I've gotten good feedback on that because for the most part, the Patreon videos, I mean, they're longer. There's more details. There's more information. But on those, our interactions, I almost just let the camera roll. There was very small things that I cut out. And a lot of feedback from that was like, that was great because it gave more of a realistic feel to it as to the work being done. Unlike a TV show where they're an hour and they rebuilt the entire car, Denny, Barry, I stole my first car, 66 convertible, bought it when I was 14 for $100 and drove it home. That's cool. I like that. Nick, you think I wasn't embarrassed? Hit a hole in the muffler and blew a cloud of most likely piston debris when you took off. I had a friend of mine that drove a Tempo, and it was a four-door baby blue Tempo. And they got it secondhand from somebody else who got it secondhand, who got it from somebody else secondhand. And the truth is, they drove that car for like years and years and years. It just kept on running. I mean, they had to do some work to it occasionally, fix some things. Ugliest car, but it kept running. So it was mostly dependable. Bob, a dryer vent hose hooked up to the air filter housing and going up to the grill gave me 4 miles per gallon on my 76 Ford 460 van. Okie cold air package. Hey, I mean, it does help. It just has to be fed right. Dave Conville, off subject, you ever go to Helen, Georgia? I happen to be eating grits from there right now. I've been to Helen, Georgia twice. The first time was in the military, and it was a really bad experience. And the reason I say that is we were training, we were doing ranger school training type stuff up in Dahlonega, and they gave us a day pass to go to Helen. So we didn't know this. The only thing they told us prior to the trip when we initially went to Dahlonega was bring some civilian clothes with you. Okay. And they didn't tell us to like bring money and stuff. So they took us from the ranger camp in Dahlonega on buses in civilian clothes to Helen, Georgia, which is just a tourist town. And most of us had zero money. We had nothing. So all we did was walk around all day and look at people. It was like, great. So not the fondest memory of Helen, Georgia, but it's a cool place. It is. It's a very neat place. SB, the GTO Judge, probably my favorite muscle car. Yeah, okay. That's a cool muscle car. Dave, first car, 1983 C10 short bed, 2-wheel drive, lowered 4 inches. Still have it. Wow. That's pretty good. Depends on when you bought it. But I mean, still 83. I don't know if you bought it around that time period, I guess. But that's pretty cool. Robert, I need contact lenses with the camera built into it. That would be, yeah, that would be nice. Cole, I subscribed. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Chris, not as cool as the GT Montego MX is the, not as cool as the GT Montego MX is the Coupe 351. 4-gear at least. Okay. Not as cool as the GT Montego MX. I'm not sure exactly what the question is. Lad is checking out. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I'm at the two hour mark, unless I make up for the 5 minutes that I was cut out. Bill Goebel, my first car was an Opel Kadett. Yeah, that's still a cool little car, actually. I like those. 777, a video of mine would be walking. Wait, a video of mine would be me walking in circles looking for something. Oh, if you did a YouTube video. Yeah, I get that. Brian Bergman, I'm back. What I miss? You missed a dead space of a period of time, unfortunately, where my laptop shut off. Nick, yeah, you see someone driving a Tempo, and you just got to say, hey, leave some girls for the rest of us. Yeah. Cole, my truck is two-wheel drive. I love it. Always heard two-wheel drivers are useless. I don't understand why. No. There's a ton of value in a two-wheel drive truck. Art Man, I had a hand-me-down Tempo. That thing took more abuse than my toy cars as a kid. Chris, anything with a slant 6, a freight train can't stop them. Seen 2 pistons outside of the cylinder wall and still kept chugging. I have 2. I actually have 2. Angel, hey Joe, I'm a fan of your channel. I just bought a 98 Ford Taurus SHO V8. Straight pipe it. I straight pipe it and did some things. People say it's having the V8 version. What do you think? Keep it or get rid of it? Well, I've heard good things about the Taurus SHO engine, you know, that engine in particular. Now, I don't know where the value is on those cars. I honestly don't know. I have heard of people taking that engine and putting it in other things, but I don't have I can't tell you if it's worth keeping or to get rid of it. I can't really tell you that, so sorry. 64, seen a slant 6 run for an hour with no oil in it once. Guy was trying to make it seize, but it stood tall for an hour. That's pretty impressive. Dave, my dad bought the C10 new in 1983. He and I lowered it just before I got my license. Cool. That is cool. Nick says that SHO is a rare car. I would keep it. They only made it for a year or two. I knew a guy that had one. It scooted. Yeah, I've heard they're pretty quick for what they are. In fact, odd topic. Roger and I, we're driving back and forth to Texas, just talking about stuff. And we happened to see, or he saw it, I didn't see it, a GMC Cyclone on a car hauler. And then it was like, hey, what year did they make those and how many did they make? And so he Googled it real quick because they had the Typhoon, they had the Cyclone and the Typhoon, which were two, those were hot rods. There's no way around that. Same time the Buick Grand National and GNX and all that stuff. But apparently, what was it, 90, 91, 92? They only made what was the number? Less than 4,000 or around 4,000 of the Typhoons. And the truck, I thought they made more of, and they only made a couple thousand of those, or like 2,600 or something. And then the following year, they only made 3. So it was like 92, they only made 3 GMC Cyclones. So if you're looking for something rare that's a real hot rod, try to find one of those. All right, Chris says, four-wheel drive is the way to go in snowy areas. Yep. Well, that or a front-wheel drive. Front-wheel drives are really good in snow. I've had that experience. Chris says, keep it. I have a coworker regret selling his in the 2000s. Yep. And Clark, 9 p.m. almost time for another bout of the breaks. Yes. In fact, this is going to be a stop time. and it's been 2 hours. Um, I need to get in the house. I need to relax a little bit and get ready for bed. Sorry about the delay with the computer shutting off. Uh, oh, Angel says, I also think about buying a Ford Lightning. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, they've got their place. They've got their place. The SHO, I don't know though how big the market is. Like I said, if the following is greater for the SHO because they're harder to find, maybe. I don't know. All right. Yeah, still getting more comments, but I'm gonna call it a night. My throat's starting to go. I want to thank everybody for being here. I'm working on what will be the next video. I think it's going to be the block sanding and next round of high build on the car. So that'll be my focus. And then I have a video I need to edit out on the stray pony because I always said I was going to make a video on it. And what I did before we took it to Texas, I shot a video of that car so you can see overall the whole thing. And so that'll be coming out soon as well. But thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out during the shutdown and waiting. But I'll be back Thursday afternoon at 3 p.m. and we'll talk some more. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See you.